Hello, everyone. Well, that was an interesting part of our project. It was different to see myself after I did the therapy session, but it was actually very helpful because I was able to see how my posture looked, the kind of questions I was asking, um, what questions I could ask in the future, how I responded to some of the questions, and just kind of in general how I will be in the future with my clients. So it was good. It was scary, but it was good. I did notice a few things that I could change in my future sessions, and it's definitely my paraphrasing. I did a lot of it. Next time, I will work on letting the client kind of talk a little bit more. I noticed it was a little hard to do that because I felt like, and from what I've read in all of our other classes, that we have that need to always have an answer for everything, but that's not kind of the case. The case is just to listen, and from what we hear, kind of come up with a plan. And I did a lot of talking. I did a lot of paraphrasing. I also noticed that my expressions were, a lot of it was, I don't want to say negative, but I was very serious on most of my expressions, where I kind of could have smiled a little bit more or just looked a little bit more happier, I guess. I also feel that maybe structuring better open-ended questions, that way the client can talk a little bit more about it. But as far as like gathering most of the information, I think I did pretty good. In order for me to come up with a diagnosis, I do still need some more information, but for the 9 minutes that I did, it wasn't long enough to kind of come up with a full diagnosis. But I do feel that I'm going towards major depressive disorder, because he did report that he had no energy. He was having difficulties concentrating. It was already starting to affect his work life because he was getting to work late. Um, and it was kind of going down that road. And I think that with further interviewing, I can kind of get more information. As far as comfort, the client did look a little standoffish, and it just could have been because it was our first session, and I kind of expected that. But maybe what I can do is maybe next time what I can do is work on my facial expressions and kind of throw in some smiles and feel a little bit more opening in a sense, and talk a little bit less. That way it doesn't seem as if I'm controlling the session itself. But overall, I think that I did good on kind of gathering most of the information. I asked a lot of questions. He seemed to be very detailed with his questions, and I think that the questions that I was asking in regards to time frame, any history in the family of mental health illness, how long each episode lasted, and if he's worked on minimizing those emotions in the past, um, as well as if he's had any coping skills or found or looked for other ways of helping his emotions, or helping balance his life. Um, and he brought up a good point about going to see a psychiatrist and the medication not working. And a lot of the times, I noticed that um, maybe they're not educated well enough, or they're just not being consistent on the medication. So I like the fact that he did bring up that point, that he tried to get help before, but it didn't work out. So he was trying to like feel out his options, which that's why he came back to therapy, to see if this alternative would work a little better. Um, but overall, I think I did pretty good. Obviously, I had a few flaws that I would have to work on. Like I said, the talking too much, maybe less paraphrasing, and my facial expressions. Um, and also working on the types of open ended questions that I will need to ask, because I want to make sure that I'm getting the right information that I need in order to make the most accurate diagnosis possible, in order to find the best treatment plan for the client. And that's all.